So fellow problem solvers, thank you for joining. John East here, as you know. Share, like and subscribe. Today I'm talking about rates and taxes. No, wait, wrong channel. Rates and ratios in mathematics. So how to work with rates and also ratios, that unknown factor that many people struggle with. Stay tuned to really understand and walk in excellence in this. Welcome back, problem solvers. So yes, let's look at something called a ratio and the difference between a ratio and a rate. So first of all, a ratio is a comparison of two or more quantities of the same type. For example, let's say, for instance, you've got three friends. You've got Sam, you've got Joe, and Pete. And all three of them have oranges. So Sam has 3 oranges, Joe has 5 oranges, and Pete has, let's say, 4 oranges. Now, it's clear that if we add them all up together, we'll know the total amount of oranges they have. So 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 plus 3 is 12. But if we compare these in terms of ratios, we can then say the ratio of Sam, the amount of oranges Sam has, in comparison with, let's say, Pete, will be equal to 3/4. Another way of writing this is to say Sam and colon Pete is equal to 3/4. It's exactly the same. These two are exactly the same. So if you use the one, you don't need to use the other. But if the question is asked in this way, you need to be able to understand what is being asked. So in this case, this colon is being used as a divide. So please remember that. We can also, just as a final example, compare, let's say, Joe in terms of total. Like, what are the total amount of oranges? And we can see it will be 5/12. So this is an easy way to understand ratios and to understand how to work with them. Next up, I would like to look at rate. Now, rate is a comparison of different types of measurements. And an easy way to remember rates, for me, is always if you talk about distance, speed, and time. So let's say, for instance, you have a car and you are driving to another town. So let's say the town is 100 kilometers away and you take an hour to get there. That means your average speed was 100 kilometers per hour. Now that per means divide. So it's again the same thing. Let's say we put a divide sign there. So we have the distance, the 100 kilometers, and we've got our time and our speed. Let's use S for speed. So speed was equal to distance over time. You can even see that in the way that it's written. 100 kilometers per hour. That line also means divide. Now, we can also calculate the distance if we know that, in this case, you took an hour to get to the town and your speed was 100 kilometers an hour. Then the distance will be equal to the speed times the amount of time. So it will be 100 kilometers per hour times 1 hour. And we know that will be 100 kilometers then. At a later stage, I would like to show you how the units work with these, but it's not relevant currently for you guys in this module. So the difference between rate and ratio. Ratio is comparison between the same amount of quantities, like for instance oranges that we had with Sam, Joe and Pete. Rate, comparison between two different measurements, like for instance distance, time, and then speed.